Brooke graduated from Glen Rose High School, where she served as a state officer in the FFA. During her time at Aggieland, she was the first female to be elected student body president. She served as the Student Senate Speaker Pro Tem, as the chair of the Texas A&M Judicial Board, a fish camp counselor, and was also the Cotton Bowl queen. Brooke graduated with a degree in ag development and was recognized as the top graduate based on academics, leadership, and service. And most recently, Ms. Rollins was invited back to be the 2007 on-campus muster speaker. Brooke also graduated with honors from the law school just up the street, worked as a litigator with Hughes & Lewis in Dallas, clerked under U.S. Federal District Court Judge Barbara Lynn. She also served on Governor Rick Perry's staff, first as Deputy General Counsel and later as his policy director. She's been published in all major Texas newspapers, has spoken to thousands of Texans on the importance of free markets and limited government, recently received the 2008 Thomas Rowe Award, the top honor for free market think tank leadership. Her organization, the Texas Public Policy Foundation, has provided ideas and research for state-based reform in education, taxes, tort reform, deregulation, criminal justice, healthcare, and many other issues. Brooke and her husband, Mark Rollins, also class of '94, former Yale leader and currently an executive in the energy industry, live in Fort Worth with their 3 small children, Luke, Jake, and Anna Leslie. Also a golden retriever, a couple of gerbils, some fish, an assortment of bugs, worms, and caterpillars, depending on the season. Please help me welcome Brooke Rollins.
It is such a pleasure and an honor to be here in Austin, Texas, in this beautiful, remarkable building that has had so much history and is so much a part of our great state. It really, really is an honor. And I don't know, it looked like everyone was really listening closely, but if you got to hear all the resumes and the bios of our future class of Texas Aggies, those that are starting this fall, it's pretty remarkable. I'd like all of them to stand up again, and any other Aggies that are entering their freshman year this fall, so we can give them a big welcome and a big round of applause. Love Hannah, who loves physics. God bless you, Hannah, for loving physics, because there aren't many of you in the world, and the world needs physics-loving Aggies. So I'm not sure where Hannah is over here, but I am very grateful that there are Hannahs in the world. As Alan mentioned in that generous introduction, I had the honor of speaking at the campus muster 2 years ago this very evening, and it was unlike most any other experience in my life. But I must say that being here tonight with all of you is certainly right up there. Having given hundreds, perhaps thousands of speeches in my life, beginning as a 15-year-old in the Future Farmers of America in Glen Rose, Texas, I have stood at a podium behind a microphone many times before. Indeed, as student body president my senior year, I was asked by President George H.W. Bush, who of course has his library on campus, to speak at the groundbreaking for the library. It was a big moment for this small town girl from Glen Rose, Texas, population 1,200, to stand on the stage with presidents past and future, prime ministers, and governors, and take the podium in front of thousands at the ceremony, and certainly millions more who are watching all over the world on C-SPAN and CNN. But being a muster speaker truly transcends even that experience. It is so very meaningful to speak at a ceremony that, as Dr. Payne mentioned during his remarks and so eloquently, such a remarkable history for such a remarkable university. There have been many great Aggies that have graced various musters, campus and otherwise, as a speaker. Unfortunately, I am not really one of those great Aggies. I haven't commanded an army. I have fought in no wars. I am not a hero. I have never been a mayor, a governor, senator, or congressman. I certainly have never won a Medal of Honor, not a Nobel Prize, and there is no building on campus named Rollins due to my generosity. I've never run a Fortune 500 company. I'm just a wife and a mom to 2 precious little boys and a new baby girl. And in my spare time, I work for a scrappy little think tank called the Texas Public Policy Foundation that many of you have probably heard of since you're here in Austin. But the fact is that I am greatly humbled to be here tonight with all of you on this holy Aggie Day and is truly more than I deserve. So thank you so much. But tonight, in thinking about muster, isn't really about a speaker or a person particularly. It is about this impossible to define, the spirit, our beloved university. It is about this magnificent place we call Texas A&M. It is about those who have gone before us, those who have graduated with honors in the truest sense, those that we will see again, but for now, at this moment, we remember, we honor, and we say, well done. And indeed, I know that those whose names we will call in just a few moments are having their very own glorious muster up above and looking down on us and saying, gig 'em. The muster tradition, which, as Dr. Payne mentioned, began more than 100 years ago in 1903, is the tradition at a university that is defined by its almost mythical traditions. I will note that there are a handful of other schools, believe it or not, around the country with great athletic traditions, with a student body that passionately loves their school, and certainly with a generous and dedicated former students group. But there is no other university with a tradition like Muster. Muster is our defining moment. It is a celebration that captures the essence of the spirit of Aggieland. It is about honoring our past, honoring our fallen comrades, honoring our country, honoring our freedom. It is an occasion where Aggies throughout the world, more than 300 were happening right now, pause to remember and to reflect. It is about celebrating freedom, about celebrating our values, and about celebrating our family. It is about the realization that service above self is the highest calling. The commitment to an idea that commitment to self is less than commitment to the greater cause, and that death is worth such a commitment. That idea that death is worth such a commitment is certainly not new to Texas A&M, and it's really not new to Texas. On February 24th, 1836, the following words were written. To the people of Texas and all Americans in the world, fellow citizens and compatriots, I am besieged by 1,000 or more of the Mexicans under Santa Anna. I have sustained a continual bombardment and cannonade for 24 hours and have not lost a man. The enemy has demanded a surrender at discretion. Otherwise, the garrison are to be put to the sword if the fort is taken. I have answered that demand with a cannon shot, and our flag still waves proudly from the walls. I shall never surrender nor retreat. Then I call on you in the name of liberty, of patriotism, and of everything dear to the American character to come to our aid with all dispatch. The enemy is receiving reinforcements daily and will no doubt increase to 3,000 or 4,000 in 4 or 5 days. If this call is neglected, I am determined to sustain myself as long as possible and die like a soldier who never forgets what is due to his own honor and that of his country. Victory or death, William Barrett Travis.